Domestic abuse affects more than 12 million people every year. It's been a constant issue for years now that not only affects its victims, but many times also the other household members. In any relationship, there's problems when these problems result in abuse. It's important to identify that signs, take action immediately. We have interviewed some people to tell us their story and point of views on their issue. Let's hear from them. What is your name and major?
My name is Gigi, Gianna, but call me Gigi, and I'm a vocal major.
My name is Michael Cardona, and I'm a video production major. David Tovar.
I'm Isabella, and I am a film major.
Has you or anyone in your close family or friends experienced any type of abuse?
Yeah, I would say I have some friends that are or have been abused.
Well, I've had generational abuse in my family.
My grandfather used to be very abusive towards her. He was an alcoholic, so he would come home drunk and he would hit her consistently, and then he would cheat on her, and then she eventually got out of the situation, thankfully, but he still abused his grandchildren and his children.
Because my dad was a very abusive person, he would withhold financials, so financial abuse, emotional, and I also suspect physical, but she hasn't told me that. He also would sexually abuse me.
My dad, he used to play mental games and basically emotionally abuse me. And then when I was little, as a form of punishment, he would tie me and my stepsister to chairs. If we forgot to do chores, then it was the chair. If we talked back, we had the chair.
But there for my mom, we both started kind of down spiraling. It wouldn't necessarily be physical, it was more of an emotional thing where, you don't feel like you're good enough for a parent or you desperately need their approval. And then she started actually physically abusing me it was either slapping me, pulling my hair, punching me. It only happened a few times, and she says she's apologized for it, but it's not like I would forgive her for it.
It's really hard to escape an abuser, especially when they're like for my grandma, somebody that you're married to, and then for me, somebody that's your parent. It's hard to escape them.
Would you say abuse is normalized in your environment?
Definitely.
In my current environment, no.
When I was younger, there was definitely a lot of normalization. It was a commonality. It was most definitely expected, and you just kind of have to try to survive through that. And it really feels strange once you exit that environment, how different the day-to-day experience is, because you used to have this dark cloud or this thick fog around you that's suddenly just gone.
When I live with my dad, it seems like abuse is a part of who he is. It's kind of ingrained in him because it's kind of how he was raised from his father. So for him, when I live with him, it's kind of normalized.
How's these experiences and the environment overall affected you?
It's affected me to the point where there's some day-to-day life behaviors that will occur, and I'll just be like, well, I'm supposed to accept that as normal, but it's not normal. And I know it's not normal, but everyone around me accepts it as normal.
It's kind of the reason I shut down sometimes, because it's hard to trust people when the person that you're supposed to be able to trust the most is the person causing you to shut down.
The main way it's affected me is I try to be a lot more cautious in how I approach individuals or talking about certain subjects, because you never know what people are going through or what they're experiencing in their day-to-day without being able to talk about it for their own safety.
Do you think it's important to spread awareness of abuse?
Yes, I think it's important to spread awareness because it takes shape in many forms, because a lot of people associate that word with physical violence when it could be fully emotional. It could be, in some cases, very manipulative. It could be exposing people to things that they are not at the age that they are willing to be exposed to that, or they are not consenting to being exposed to that. So there's a lot of different ways that it can take shape, and I think reducing the stigma around that word from, oh, this is just when someone hits another person, it's not that. It's a lot more than that.
It really is. It's important because there are some situations where abuse can lead to death, and it really messes a person up.
Abuse can happen in even the most unlikely places, and something can look good or right or perfect on the outside when it's not. So I think it's good to spread awareness so other people can recognize when abuse is happening, and
It takes shape in many different ways, but I think a commonality for the experiences that I know of are it's always from people that you trust and that a lot of people around you wouldn't expect it from.
As you can see, abuse can be normalized in many households, and therefore affecting people in them. It usually takes the victim 7 tries to leave an abusive relationship. If not more, this can be a number of reasons. Threats, financial despair, emotional dependency, denial, excuses, family pressure, child's best, having no place to go, etc. But exactly because of these struggles, it is that it's important to spread awareness about abuse so victims not only recognize and try to put an end. The truth is, domestic abuse can happen to literally anyone, regardless of age, race, gender, sexual orientation, faith, or class. And the abuse is not always just physical. It can be emotional, financial, and even sexual. So when we spread awareness, we're not just helping the victims, but also encouraging people to donate to organizations that try to support these victims and for them to care more about this issue because it matters. Your safety matters.